Hello, good morning, and welcome to Abuja City TV. Um, here, today is Wednesday, as we all know, and today we are on security matters, and this is Abuja Security Spectrum. Today, we delve into a topic of great importance, one that has been causing distress and concern in the nation's capital, Abuja. I was shining the spotlight on the rising threat of one chance crimes in Abuja. Well, you may have heard of the term, but in reality, the reality behind it is far more sinister than we can ever imagine. One chance involves crimes, criminals posing as taxi drivers or passengers, preying on unsuspecting commuters for robbery, assault, and even worse. And in recent times, Abuja has witnessed a surge in these incidents, leaving residents on edge and demanding urgent action. So, in our exploration today, we will uncover the disturbing tactics employed by these criminals, maybe share a few heart-wrenching stories from victims, and discuss critical steps being taken by authorities to address this growing menace. But before we dive in, please remember to engage with us in the comment section. Your thoughts, experiences, and suggestions also matter. Together, let's shed light on one chance in Abuja and discuss how we can collectively contribute to making our city safer for everyone. Now, with me here in the studio, I have Mr. Bobola Richard, our social analyst. We are going to be discussing together, and I trust that we are going to be learning a lot from him today.
Thank you very much.
Please introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Richard, as you rightly mentioned. I'm welcoming you to this very particular episode this morning. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bobola, let's start with the menace. So the activities of these criminal syndicates, disguised as legitimate taxi drivers, have consistently made headlines in various media outlets. Operating with cunning tactics, these criminals are often armed with weapons ranging from daggers to guns, you name it, and even employ hypnotizing ways to subdue their victims. The more sophisticated among them have adopted points of sale, that is POS machines for quick.
These criminals, the activities are just too disturbing.
Of course.
Quite disturbing.
Of course.
I could remember a certain scenario. A friend of mine was, he's within the Abuja town.
Yeah.
Trying to, I think from Kubwa to Bega.
Yeah.
So normally he went to by the roadside and tried to pick to board a vehicle, unknown to him that he was actually boarding. When he was in the vehicle, they started preaching, started talking about some bundle of cash that these days, and he fell victim to that.
Okay, the people he met in the vehicle.
Yes, he met some people in the vehicle thinking they were normal passengers in the vehicle.
Of course.
So they according to him, they started some discussions in the vehicle, like, okay, we have some bags of money in the boot, and this. I think along the line, it was, according to him, it was a friendly conversation, and the whole thing was
they needed to.
So it was like, okay, I think I can have one or two inputs.
Yeah.
And then he decided to chip in one or two things. And before you know, he got hypnotized.
Wow.
So it was like, he never knew where he was any longer. And he had to come back home. I was like, trying to meet his neighbor. I was like, neighbor, please, you have so amount with you. Kindly give it to me so that I can. So the neighbor was like, they were very curious.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, he had to look for the sum of 50,000 naira by all means. And they gave him so many, according to him, and they gave him so many. So by the time he to cut a long story short, he finished doing everything. Before the whole thing was like, where am I?
His eyes became cleared.
So he was like, what's happening? You understand? Okay. So this is one of the many atrocities these people are committing. We've heard stories. We've seen news whereby they could push their victims out of the moving vehicle.
All right, very, very quickly, here is another individual account, also related to the one you've just mentioned. A furniture designer coerced into withdrawing a staggering 1 million naira from his account and left stranded. reveal the traumatic experience faced by victims. Additionally, the distressing tale of a school teacher robbed, beaten, and forced to transfer funds during the nightmarish ordeal highlight the audacity and brutality of these criminals. Now the point is that these people are actually targeting the less privileged, if I may say, because the people that are falling victim of these criminal activities are people that are struggling to survive. You know, like a furniture designer, you know, a school teacher. How much does a school teacher earn these days? So you see that the people that are actually becoming victim of this are the people that are just going by their activities, their daily activities, to fend for themselves and their families. And these criminals are people that are actually, you know, they are very, very brutal. So what do you think about this? Like, what can you say?
Okay, let me come in from here. The whole security, the less privileged are the ones that are always at the end, at the receiving end of everything.
Yeah, true.
Look at the kidnapping, look at the armed robbery, what have you. It's okay. Okay, if you and I close from work, for instance, if you are going home, you have to go to the park. Yeah. And there is no standard park precisely,
of course,
whereby you could go and you see vehicle coming to come and pick you up. So sometimes you have to wait by the roadside. Yeah. It will be very impossible for you to see a rich man kid staying by the roadside. Of course. So they will still be the one to fall victim eventually.
Right.
You understand now? Right. So okay, if there is a standard park where maybe after closing from work, or maybe you just want to go and visit someone, or whatever, you could go to the park and then board the normal vehicle that is going your way. Then you can now enter, and you know, everything will be smooth. Yeah. Compared to
this actually, you know, brings us to the fact that we don't have a, you know, standard park like that, except the parks that for travelers and all of that.
Even you know, all the parks for travelers, too. Yeah. For instance, if you want to go to Area 1, as it stands today now, Area 1 does not have a particular park.
Of course.
Okay, let me say if you're coming from, let's say, Begazis, or let me say from Gwarimpa, Oasis, and you're going to Bega, there is no particular park a motor can just go in, a vehicle can go in again. You understand now? Yeah. So, for instance, the major parks, as in the major bus stops in Abuja, where we have Bega, we have Area 1, we have Area 3, we have before the bridge, under the bridge precisely, there are they call it park precisely, but to me, I don't see it as a park. You understand now? Normally, maybe in the evening or at night, as soon as you get there, they will have to, like, okay, maybe they would, you know, the conductors, they will have to be calling the names of the places you are going to. Yeah. You understand now? One would think that with all of this, you would go safely. The security, there is never assured at all. It's never assured. So there was this case of a man that he got to that place, so he felt safe. That okay, after all, I'm already at the park. To cut the long story short, by the time those conductors who finished loading the vehicle, as in calling passengers into the vehicle, by the time they got to somewhere around Tungamaji or Anagada, precisely, he realized that
it's too late.
Thank you very much. What saved that person that day was because he wasn't holding his ATM card, and maybe he was just holding the small phones he was having with him. That was the only thing. They beat hell out of him. You understand now? So when you look at all this, I think in as much as we want to blame the passengers picking the vehicles along the roadside, we should also
governments you know, what the government are actually doing about it, because this is a problem that has been existing for a long period of time now, and it's still posing some certain threats in the future, of course. Exactly. So we're still going to come to that, of course. But let's still look at other aspects of this, because now, according to you, we can't really trust these supposed packs. Yes. Right? Because they are not actually packs. Yes. It's not like they get record of passengers. It's not like they get, you know, record of all their drivers in the pack and all of that. Yes. No, it's not. It's just some people organizing some things and then, you know, just trying to make their money.
Exactly.
Right. So they don't actually know the people picking up other people, the drivers picking up people at the park.
Yes.
Now we can't trust the parks. We can't trust. We can't even trust anybody.
We can't trust anybody.
Right. Yeah. So now, should we just say that, okay, everybody on God, or what are some of the measures we can take? What are some of the things we can observe to call our attention to some of these things? There are some things that you can observe. Maybe for example, I was going home some days back, and the driver, there was a lady going to the airport, and she stopped the car normal now. So as the car parked by her side, she just came to us, and she just looked inside like, okay. She saw that all of us were actually men. So she just told the driver. Driver was like, we are not one chance. I'm like, driver, if you are one chance, we'll write it on your head. So that is being cautious, right? It's being cautious. Even though we are not actually, even me in the car, I'm not sure that other persons beside me are actually not, planning some evil, but, we are just all trying to survive. Right, but the lady did something that is impressive, because she noticed these are guys. Anything can happen.
Yes.
4 guys in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Only me, the lady.
Yeah.
I can be overpowered. So she took the best step, which is to step back and look for another vehicle. So this is one of the measures we can take to actually, be safe, or to avoid some of these things. So if you have some other points that you can give us, maybe at the park, maybe the kind of vehicle we should be safe.
Okay. That being said, I think I have to contribution to that.
Yeah.
John, like come first. Okay. There was a day.
Okay.
It took the intervention of my colleague. I haven't experienced it before, and God will never allow me to experience such a thing in my life.
Right.
There was a day I think we closed late.
Okay.
So a colleague of mine now said, please, let's take a walk together, so that let's get to the park. We're actually going to the same direction.
Yeah.
So on getting to the park, there was no vehicle. I think that should be area 1 precisely. So we were like, hey, when are these cars coming, so that we'll just leave here?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a man, I can remember vividly, that day was some minutes past 8. You understand?
Yeah.
And it was raining.
Yeah.
So as we were trying to get a car that we're going to our direction now, so there was a man that okay, he parked his Toyota Corolla, and he said, are you going to so place? We said yes. He said, okay, come and enter into the vehicle. So as we were about entering, normally when it was a rush hour really.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the vehicle, and they were like, okay, what do we do now in this kind of scenario? So as we were sitting in that vehicle, a man came. The man was having injury, I think, on his leg. So the leg was bandaged.
Mm-hmm.
So the man was like, please, my son, can you go to the back seat so that I can sit at the front? So I was like, hey, yeah, okay, sir. As I was about, as in trying to move back, my colleague said, Mr. Richard, let's get down. I was like, what do you mean? Why? It's raining now. He said, can't you see the handles of this vehicle? The whole 4 handles, aside from the driver. The handles, anything happens along the way, you'll be able to open the door and get out.
Yeah.
So initially I thought, but the second thought I was like, this thing could be through. So I was like, okay, let me see what I can do. So we called the driver and said, Oga, what happened to your handles? The guy was giving flimsy excuses. So I said to her, let this rain beat me. I prefer to come out of this rain than to come out of this vehicle and be beaten with this rain than, you understand now. That's how, including the man that was bandaged. And April 12, 2013 precisely, there was a particular case then. You were in, I think, at Guagua.
Okay.
So the SARS then arrested some guys. So when they were arrested, so they were like, these guys are criminals, SARS now.
Mm-hmm.
So the way they were doing their things then. So I was opportune to talk to 1 or 2 guys. So luckily, the guys that were arrested, the leader of the gangs, happened to be from the same state with me. So I heard them speaking a particular dialect. So I was like, wow. So then I spoke to them back. My friend, how are you? What happened? What are you doing there? So conversation ensued.
Yeah.
And then what happened is they were like, sir, this my brother and his girlfriend,
Yeah.
they are one chance people.
Well.
So I was like, then why are you telling me this? He said, no, say because the way you relate to us.
Yeah.
You understand now?
Yeah.
So then I felt like, okay, how do you do it? But I think they normally have like guys. He says, sir, let me tell you, those vehicles that you see guys, he say it can never be possible. Because even you as a lady, you wouldn't want to enter because they are full of guys. He said they will have to put, let's say, a lady or two ladies as a these guys.
Oh, yeah.
You understand now?
Yeah.
So sometimes when I see a vehicle that is full of men or guys, and a lady just stop the car and they are men go. It will be let me use the word naive of her to think that these guys are this thing. It will shock her that the next one could be. But all in all, we're a religious country.
Of course.
So we have to continue praying to God.
All right.
So the security is another thing entirely.
All right. Okay. You have picked. Some very important points from what you have explained, and I think it is very important as individuals to be very, very observant.
Yeah.
We should be very, very observant.
Yeah.
And our law enforcement guys are not really doing much, because some of these vehicles we have agencies monitoring. What is it? The Federal Road Safety, I think.
The police.
Yeah, that are supposed to be monitoring some of these vehicles. Some vehicles don't even have good tires. Some don't have good doors. Some don't have. You enter some vehicles, like the fumes will almost choke you out. So I think in that aspect, our law enforcement agencies are not really doing much to help us in that aspect. But let's come back to this particular topic. Okay. As individuals, we should be very observant. Yeah. And also we should care about our own safety.
Yeah.
Our safety comes first.
Yeah.
Our safety. As I am like this, I don't enter vehicles anyhow. Yes, it's God that protects everyone. Yeah. I don't enter vehicles anyhow. I'm very selective.
Yeah.
Very selective. Very selective. So, we should be very vehicles that the glasses cannot be, you can't wind down the glasses, you can't open in case of any, or even there are some big vehicles, any vehicle is public transport in Abuja here. So there are some big vehicles that you go in sometime and the driver will just wind up everything, put on an AC, lock the doors. I'm like, no, you don't do that.
Yes, I think to that extent, the removal of fuel subsidy has added to these problems, or let me say to this challenge.
Yeah.
You understand now? These days, you will even see a private car.
Yeah.
You understand now?
Stopping along the road, picking passengers.
Thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
So in all of this, vigilance is the utmost thing to do. As an individual, you have to be vigilant of your environment. Even while you are standing at the so-called parks, you just have to be very vigilant.
Yeah.
A friend of mine once told me that this one now is not even in the vehicle.
Okay.
His laptop was in his bag, and he was along the park trying to
find his way.
Try to look for a vehicle that will take him to his destination, not knowing that laptop had already been removed from his bag, and they now replaced it with what's it called, hardcover notebook. So it was when he got home that I realized that so he was normal now. Put it on the ground. Was like am I dreaming or what? What is happening?
Yeah.
You understand now? So vigilance is the utmost thing to do whenever you are in all these areas.
Yes.
Okay, for instance, now in what's it called? Gwarimpa precisely.
Yeah.
During the peak hours, maybe in the morning or in the evening, you see so many people rushing to me. As soon as I get to all those places, I will just stand and watch very, very, very well before I will even decide to pick any vehicle at all. And even though you want to sit in the vehicle, number one, be wary of any conversation going on. You understand now? Don't just because you want to talk, or maybe because at least you have to like try as much as it to bridle your tongue.
Yeah.
Don't just because everybody is talking in the vehicle and you want to talk.
Contribute.
From that process, they can hypnotize you, and before you know, things are gone out of you. That's number one. Then number two, whenever you want to enter, for instance, you want to enter a vehicle and a passenger is coming out of the vehicle and asking you to enter first. Don't do that.
I don't do that as well.
You understand now? Tell him, okay, go inside first. I will follow you.
Yeah, these are actually.
You understand now? And
do.
maybe whenever you want to stand, you want to like maybe there is nobody at the back of the vehicle and you want to sit at the front. Please use your sense. Prevention is better than cure. You can as well sit at the back of the driver. Anything that wants to happen, let it happen. I'm bad. I'm behind you directly. So it is very hard.
Tragic reality. Before we go to the government's aspect, hopefully we have the time to. Okay, the tragic death of greatness Olorun Femi, a human resources consultant and member of the Yali network, serves as a stark reminder of the gravity of one chance menace. Olorun Femi's encounter with a one-chance criminal driver ended in a deadly stabbing and her subsequent denial of medical treatment. Now, this is the aspect I want us to really talk on right now. The medical treatment. She was denied medical treatment due to the absence of a police report which ignited public outrage recently. The incident underscores the urgent need to address both the criminal activities and the challenges citizens face in accessing timely medical care. Okay, you know that these hospitals as well deny some patients some medical care because of the reason behind, their, misfortune. So for this particular scenario now, the lady was stabbed, deadly stabbed.
Okay.
So these multiple stabbings, caught the attention of the hospitals. Like they denied her all access to medical care, because she doesn't have a police report.
Okay.
Now, it could be from other, actions or incidents, but now the lady died because she couldn't access medical care. Right? We're taken to the hospital. How could you have gotten a police report to take along with you? Are you going to with your stabbing wounds go to the police station, then request for a report, and then go to the hospital?
You can't equally blame the hospital management.
Okay, enlighten us.
Thank you very much. There are some cases in the past whereby they will say, okay, let's attend to this patient first. You understand now? Yeah. But eventually they will find themselves in that trouble. Because they've treated so many patients in the past and they find themselves in the trouble. For instance, they will see, we are in a country whereby insecurity has become a norm. You understand now?
Yeah.
It will shock you that if bomb explodes, let's say, God forbid, bomb explodes somewhere around, let's say along Kubwa Express now, or Gwagwalada, for instance. You understand now?
Yeah.
The next person will just come and ask you, how many people die? You understand now? So there is this these
countries, and we've seen how some of them handle the scenarios. And we've also seen in movies, there are some things that happens in movies that are elements of what happened in reality.
Yeah.
Of course, so I don't know if there are some cases whereby maybe a gunshot wound, stabbing wound, or other incidents like that. The victims are being treated and held, perhaps handcuffed to the bed, or held down for the police to properly investigate. Life comes first, right? In my own opinion, in my own view, you save the life, right? Even if he's going to be to jail, he has to live to pay for the consequences of his actions. Even though if he's the one, in the wrong, of course. So I feel life should come first.
Yes, it's true. Life should come
then
first.
The authorities need to be notified that this social case is in our hospital and we need government intervention.
I think that is exactly what they, as in the authority and the hospital management or whatever, or the medical centers or whatever, needs to come to a balance. You understand now?
Yeah.
They need to understand that. So long there are social vices, definitely gunshot wounds, stab wounds, it must be there. You understand now?
Yeah.
So when all these things are there, it is a must for a balance to be
put in place.
Put in place. Thank you very much. You understand now?
Yeah.
If all these things are not there, the doctors will still be finding it difficult to treat any wounds because they cannot bear the brunt of another man's stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Very quickly, because I think we've been signaled to round up the program. But
Okay.
let's say one or two points regarding the law enforcement response and some of the things that
I think
governments can do.
they actually try.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
truth.
There's a report that recently the minister,
Yes, yes, they
actually made
actually
some
try.
moves to.
I've traveled around Abuja
Okay.
in the night, at night, daytime, what have you. You understand now?
Yeah.
And I can see some of them patrolling
Uh-huh.
in the night. You understand now?
Okay.
Like, let me say if you are coming down from, let me say from Bega to, let's say for instance, to Lugbe or to Giri.
Yeah.
You understand now? There
Yeah.
are so many checkpoints
Checkpoints, yeah.
along
Yeah.
along the way that
Yeah, that's
okay.
true.
Like let me say it's not even up to like let's say 2 minutes drive. You understand now? And you see them patrolling. So sometimes it is a thing of joy that at least the minister is even working, and I hope that this kind of level of measure is still active, so
Yeah.
that people will be
Right.
very
Right.
happy about it.
Right, right. We need that actually because our lives can be put in danger all the
Yes,
time while
yes.
we have limited access
Exactly.
to protection from the law enforcement.
Exactly.
And it's not just about, I would like to tell our government or law enforcement agencies that it's not just about being assigned to do the work, it's about actually doing the job.
Yeah, it's about commitment.
It's not about you standing on the road and looking at vehicles or, doing whatever, but doing the actual job with the intention